Season 3 and what is going to be Cycle 7 action. Coming at you now, the year is 2015, in case you forgot for whatever reason. No, but we got a new you here, and we got some crazy good Heroes of New Earth to be coming at you as well. What a way to kick off the new year with what is now, once again, Cycle number 7, Han Tour Season 3 resuming. Boy, oh boy, cannot be more excited. I'm sure you guys tuning in are excited as well, and I'm sure my co-caster is excited as well. The one and only Mini Maggot. Mini, how's it going?
Hey man, yeah, I'm so pumped. I'm so hyped for this, man. It's been like 3 weeks, obviously, since the last time we've casted some Hon, man, and I have truly missed it. I mean, there's so much to talk about, obviously, the new year and the new patch as well. I'm so looking forward to see what teams are sort of doing with it, man, and I just want to get underway already.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Exactly. We decided to come in a little bit early here, and the match is actually still waiting to get started. In fact, it looks like they might be starting to load in now, so we'll jump in here shortly. But the match that we're going to be covering, of course, as you see on your screen, Dawn versus Willow Keeper, a round of 8 matchup. You look at the brackets overall, these are all the matches that are happening. You got Sync versus Ride My Rocket, one of the gold teams that qualify. They got second place, so looking forward to see how they do, but of course, Sync Esports, yet again defending champions. Nullstone Gaming versus Prime Icarus. Prime Icarus, a team that was able to stick around for another cycle of Diamond. We'll see how they fare against Nullstone, a strong team. Of course, the series that we're covering, a Willow Keeper versus Dawn. And then you got Reason Gaming versus Rexar. So quite the plethora of matches here, of course. You know, right away, there's so many things to talk about, but of course, the first thing to bring up here is you look at the brackets. No BMG. Bad Monkey Gaming not a part of these brackets. They got knocked down to the gold division, and they'll start their gold trek here today. From my understanding, there was talks of them possibly even disbanding as a result of what happened, but apparently they are going to try to stick it out.
They are still singing. I spoke to Super KG today, actually, and they are competing today. They've got a bit of a new sort of roster. I know, obviously, Super KG and Hackstron are still there. I think they've picked up Palais and 2 other players, but the roster is kind of under change at the moment. But
yeah,
they are definitely still competing as they want to.
Yeah. Well, with that said, as now you do see, we are actually in game number 1 of our series here. Tree versus Dawn, though. This is definitely an exciting one coming at you. Of course, we got Willow Keeper, a very consistently strong team. Yet again, another runner-up performance last cycle, losing to Sync Esports in the end, but getting that second place finish, getting the good amount of points from it, of course, is a nice chunk of that prize pool. They're going up against Dawn, who apparily now is tagged up as Is it Pokemon? Is that what actually that means? Pokemon Crew. Here we go. Anyways, you know, the biggest thing for them, though, not only, of course, Pro Busk, but Zibe joining the ranks as well. As a result, being no longer a part of BMG, of course, as we mentioned. So that's kind of, this should really be a strong and a lot of fun first-round matchup here in a best out of 3. So, but you know, the craziest thing too is you kind of shortly brought up there, but holy crap, it's been we had 3 weekends off here. You know, obviously with the holidays and everything, we're finally getting back. But amongst not only just getting back, kind of recovering in the sense, okay, finally we got some home once again. There was a whole freaking patch that happened. Patch 3.6 took place. A lot of balances changed as a result of that. And we're going to start seeing today how maybe some of those changes kind of kick in as a result. So that's also what I'm especially looking forward to. And I know many out there are as well. So, well, we got here the first 3 picks for either side already coming out, though. So let's take a look as far as this game is concerned, see what we're dealing with. The initial bans was Swiftblade, Madman. We had Dr. Repulsor and Kraken actually coming out. So kind of interesting couple of bans there. Madman, notable one. I assume that was banned by Dawn over here. I had to join a little bit late, but
yeah, it was. Yeah.
All right. And then we got Magnus Pyromancer Parasite coming out for them. You got Flux Engineer Gemini coming out for Willow Keeper. So that's where we're at right now. What do you think about this, Mini?
Yeah, so I mean, I think obviously as it is the first game of the day, and obviously just recently happened that the patch has hit, so we're probably not going to see too many out there picks. Although I could be surprised, but that's why Swiftblade's obviously still banned, and the heroes that kind of were nerfed to slightly are still being just, for now, dealt with just before people and competitors can really get their understanding and feel towards it. I mean, not too much to really talk about, really. Obviously, Magnus Pyromancer is such a combo that has worked pretty better than the Magnus Engineer combo, honestly, as of late. The Magnus sort of sets up so easily and nicely for the Pyromancer there to sort of dish out his burst as well. Parasite, obviously, is still a top-tier pick. But Tree looks like they've gone actually back into their old ways. I remember they used to pick up Flux a lot for Kraken. Looks like they've gone back to it here as well, the Flux Engineer.
Yeah, that's definitely some old school there. You know, the Kraken being banned, that would be a great trio of heroes to ultimately come together. But even the two alone, Engineer and Flux, of course, very, very, very strong. You're right. Kraken loves to play that Flux. Again, that's when they first started breaking out on the scene. We noticed that, of course, as Sanitarius play with Flux becomes a hard hitter and a lot of, pretty useful with it. So the next tier of picks going to be happening in the bans ultimately were Kinesis, Warbeast, Torturer, Silhouette, Bubbles, and Tremble to finish things off. Tremble being banned by Willowkeeper, so that's interesting there.
It's definitely interesting, and it's something actually that a lot of I've been speaking to a lot of competitors up to the build-up of today. Are saying, what are we going to see? What are the top tier hero picks? And they said overall, I think the Balance Change has done great work in terms of there's not a lot of high or top tier picks. Obviously, Silhouette is still a great hero, but there's ways to deal with it. But one hero that was completely mentioned quite a lot was this Tremble. They said they think Tremble is still incredibly strong, and we're going to see a lot of it. Obviously, it's banned out here, but they think it could even be first pick material for some teams. So I guess we'll have to see. And obviously, it was obviously removed from competitive, but now it's been brought back in. Competitors are saying, pick him up, man, pick him up.
One of the many, many changes that happened, of course, I got the patch notes actually on my other screen right here to kind of give me a reference, because again, I know I was able to sit down with several pro players that we released those videos of, kind of get their opinions ultimately, and, I've gone over these as well, but there was a lot. There was a lot for good reference here. I'll do my best to make note of any possible reason why we see certain heroes as you will as well. So, but yeah, you mentioned the Tremble there. Going to be banned though, so we'll see throughout the day and throughout the weekend even. Now, you made an interesting point. This is the first match here of the new cycle since the patch. It's interesting though, because we actually did again have a good amount of a break here. Now, granted, I'm sure they enjoyed their holidays just like we did and had some time off here, but it's been basically a full month since Cycle 6 finished, and it's been pretty much just under a month since this patch came out. And what was patch 3.6. So they've had at least time to kind of absorb it in, get an idea, do some TMM, some scrimmages here and there, I'm sure. So, but when it comes to actual matches, because again, the other thing that I really wanted to stress here is that also, look at the prize pool, man. This is our biggest prize pool we've had in any cycle. And, sure, having a break, a couple extra weeks helps with that, but nearly $10,000 going to be going to the first place team alone, and it breaks down from there. Ultimately, about $36.4K here in what is the Diamond Division. In total, it's about $40,000 that was made, was split between Diamond and the top 3 and Gold, of course. So, holy crap, there's a lot of money on the line.
So much money.
As everything else.
Exactly. So Revenor, actually... Well, it's an interesting pick nonetheless. He was changed actually as well, I believe. They increased his cooldown, his charges have 2 more seconds to be used up before they start ticking down, I believe. That is correct. Yeah, and honestly, Breaky, I mean, I've said it a little bit before actually. Flirted with the idea of carry Ravenor. You've sort of said no. You said no a couple of times, but I mean, we haven't really seen it work too much, to be fair. But I can assure you, man, carry Ravenor is a real thing, and it can do a lot of work. But I'm surprised that Pokemon pick up though, because if there was one team in this series that I think Ravenor carry would work, I thought it was going to be with Tree, but nonetheless, Pokemon pick up themselves.
Pokemon, Dawn, whatever they want to be called here. I mean, again, they're a tagged up Pokemon club, so
I'm going to call them Pokemon, man.
Maybe that'll be their new name. Yeah, it is a pretty fun name. Let me actually see in Haunter if they have actually changed their name to that. No, it's still Dawn and Haunter. So, well, anyways, one of the two. But the final pick, of course, Devour coming out for Willowkeeper over here. So that's going to get in the hands of Boxy, it looks like, actually. And, we've seen that once or twice before in that Suicide Roll even. So, but yeah, the carry Ravener, again, there's been a lot. I know you constantly bring it up, and yeah, we thought that we've talked about the theory of it and everything, but very, very few times have we actually seen it work in practice. So, and let me actually check Quincy's stat on that hero. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
Is it really 1-9.
1-9 record in Han Tour Season 3. I mean, that's got to mean something, right?
It's pretty poor. I'll give you that, Breaky. But I have to admit, the change to Revenant actually, it not only says only 2 seconds, but those 2 seconds do make a big difference because honestly, with Revenant, like the main focus of him is that he's always like keeping up his charges because when the team fight happens, he has to have those full charges. Otherwise, you're not using the hero to its full effectiveness. And with those 2 extra seconds, he can go from camp to camp and keep up those charges. So if the team fight does occur, the charge will be up and ready for him to actually go into a team fight with max charges, which makes all the difference, honestly. So, although it's a small change, I definitely think is the reason why we're going to see him here today.
Absolutely, that is fair, and yeah, one of the many changes that happened, and that was definitely strong. And someone and I want to say I forgot who brought it up, honestly, but I think it actually might have been ProBusk that brought it up. Like I said, I sat down with a couple of pro players, and he was one of them that this was one of his changes that he mentioned. As far as now, I don't know if he said it was for bad or good. To be honest, I can't remember that.
I don't know what wouldn't be.
It probably was, but of course, he's even the one playing it here. Unless it looks like we might have a remake. So you see, Don right here making a point that they may have not swapped correctly as planned. So possibly gonna have a remake here and make sure that they have the correct hero selected. But anyway, so I find that interesting there. But I'm looking across the roster too as we are going to go through that remake. But other than that, I mean, nothing too significant as far as heroes that were impacted from the patch, honestly. I can recall
that we see in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think, like I said, I mean, I've mentioned it a little bit before, but like any competitive game, for example in Hon, like people or competitors, they're used to trends. So like when one thing is in, like that's all we're seeing, and then a couple months later, then we see something different, and it is just all a method of sort of just trends. And I mean, if you're a competitor though, it kind of makes sense if you're continuing playing the same kind of heroes. The reason being is because if you're playing the same kind of heroes, you can play that hero to its most effectiveness. If you're trying to learn all these new heroes, then you're only going to have as much skill on, say, 20 heroes than you could have mastering 5, for example. So that's why we don't see a lot of heroes. So it expects a bit of time to maybe elapse before we start seeing these new heroes because they're just not used to it. And like you said, Breaker, there's a lot of money on the line, and are they ready to risk that, picking up a new hero that they haven't really practiced as much as, say, the regular standard?
I kind of... The thing is, though, like, I thought it was going to be like that for Valorant as well, and Valorant, whatever. Anyways, and it came out, but honestly, right away. I mean, the tournament happened, and people were using it right off the bat, as we saw. So, I completely understand the logic, and to an extent, I definitely agree with you, but... I mean, then there's the other part of me that's biased. So it's like I want to see this new stuff, damn it, and something tells me we're at least going to see something, here throughout the day and throughout the week. But it's understandable if they stick to what is comfortable for them.
To be fair though, with Ro8, that was such a massive change than just a slight change to a hero, for example. So that's probably why we saw it more often than these new heroes. But we got one new hero with Revenant, I guess. So we're slightly getting appetized.
Well, Pyromancer did get some slight changes as well. His damage was rescaled on his Dragonfire. So
to be fair, though, I think that impacts pretty more of a core role than it does as on a support role. The reason being is because with the scaling of the damage being different, it sort of allows to keep Dragonfire level 1, so you can get 1 point in further. But if you're support, normally you want to max the Q and the W just so you have that extra bit of burst. I mean, you could use it in a support role for extra harassment purposes, but if you're a 1v1 middle as a core, normally you want to have maybe like 1 point in Dragonfire and then 1 point in Fervor, which this new change allows you to do so. But as a support, I don't know if you could really get away with having 1 point in Fervor.
Yeah.
Guess we'll have to see. Nonetheless, I guess you could perhaps get it, but I just think maxing the Q and the W as a support is just a little bit more beneficial, having that extra bit of burst.
Parasite also did get a slight nerf as well, as far as his Infest. Now it's just there is no regen at level 4 compared to him actually getting life. So the infinite catapults that we're seeing for a good chunk of time there are not as likely anymore in the end. So. But picked up here, of course, in the hands of Iceland Go-Go, and here we are, starting off what is game number 1, Cycle number 7. Boy, oh boy, it's been a month since we've casted some competitive heroes in New Earth, and it's good to be back. It's good to be back, I'll say that much. So, looks like there was a chance of possible interaction, but in the end, no one really encountering one another. Look at this Glacius skin, man. It kind of throws me off. I almost thought it was Defiler.
Yeah, it does look like Defiler.
I was like, wait, did I miss something here? No, that actually is Glacius. One of our new skins. And how are they setting this up, actually? We got Devo going top with Glacius. That's a 2-1-2. Interesting. Coming out here from Tree. What do you make of this?
I like it. The reason being is because if you run a Suicide Devourer 1v solo down the bottom, for example, he can get punished quite easily against the Parasite and the Pyromancer, but if you actually send the Gemini down here, like he has that escape mechanism obviously with the twin thing, so it kind of secures both farm on the Gemini and the Devourer, which is definitely something that's useful and quite efficient nonetheless, because if you put Devourer down bottom, he's going to have such a hard time getting any kind of farm. Whereas this time, you might impact Gemini's farm a little bit by maybe reducing his GPM by about 30 or 40, but overall, it's more efficient for the team of Tree if they lane it like this.
This is a little unfortunate. Probusk heading back to base, and actually, because he DC'd apparently, so might miss out on a 1 or 2 last hits here. Flux is also should be able to get a decent start, so it happens though, and unfortunately, just kind of. You got to deal with it here, but anyways, of course, the other matches that are going on, I believe Sync versus Ride My Rocket is actually being casted by Kronos. He's actually from one of the Latin American casters, so it might be in Spanish over there, but it still is being covered by him. And there might actually be another stream on as well. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Skyzors might have been casting something, to be honest. So, not Skyzors. Wow.
Snowy,
yeah. Snowy. But anyways, this is the match that we're covering. Of course, we'll do our best to keep you updated at the very least, on top of possibly jumping in if the series ends early or whatever, as usual there. So, all right, looks like he's back, though. Not the biggest deal in the world, because as you even seen, nothing was really killed until he ultimately got here. But
yeah, he hasn't missed one last hit yet, so
yeah. Oh, that makes sense, actually, yes. Knew he was a part of Prime Icarus. So never mind. That's why he was asking which match we're covering, so I thought that might have been because he was, but
yeah,
he's actually
it's pretty because he wants to know if we're casting this game or not.
That's true. That makes sense. But then you got the bottom lane, so it's a solo Drunken Master is what it ends up being against this Gemini Engineer, so very interesting how it ended up like this as well.
Yeah. Because with this, though, now they can somewhat harass the Drunken Master to an extent and try and reduce his farm as well. He's only 170 at the moment, which is probably the reason why they've laned it as well, while still securing good farm on Boxy. So I do like what they've done. Like, Gemini's farm won't be the greatest, but something that needs to be mentioned at the time, like, if you sort of secure the farm on your initiate, in the long run it's going to give a lot more farm onto your carry. Not maybe in the laning stage, but in the mid game where, for example, like your initial like Devourer can sort of create space in the mid game, setting up ganks, which would allow Gemini to farm overall. So it's pretty. I like the way that Tree have laned this.
Yeah, that was interesting right there. Ravener using the Ball Lightning, trying to get the angle in case Flux went that way. Forced him to go the other direction at the very least. But yeah, you see Kraka easily able to avoid death right there. I mean, even with Parasite coming over. Or didn't even get tickled, really. And again, Flux, we stress this all the time, one of the tankiest early game heroes, and can be even throughout the game, of course. So, very, very difficult to get a successful kill on, as we kind of saw right there. Bottom lane, actually, Engineer going to be in a lot of trouble. Bloodlust kill possibly. Yes, indeed. Iceland Go-Go picks it up, coming over with the roam. Of course, Drunken Master also assisting, and not much more Gemini could have done right there in the end. So.
And that's probably the only weakness in this lane as well, is because they can't kill Gemini because of the twin fangs, put simply, but the only thing they can kill is the Engineer. And I mean, Glacius would be the same story as well, but if you don't have Engineer in this lane, then Gemini won't get farmed. So it's kind of like the sacrifice that Tree have to make. They're going to give up maybe 1 or 2 kills on the Engineer, but overall it's pretty worth it to get a little bit of farm on the Gemini.
Mm-hmm. Flux, again, running into a couple of illusions there, but scare him off a little bit. Not the biggest deal in the world, though. Gets his boots, actually, picked up. Let's take a look at some creep farm here, how things are going. Devo 19-12 up here at the top lane against Zibe, who's only 1-0, understandably having a much better time on that. Devo. Bottom lane, Gemini 11-2, Drunken Master 11-1, and that assist to work with, so safe to say he's done a pretty good job. Top lane, Magnus actually making himself stun Devour, but now he's in trouble with the hook. I don't know if he's going to be able to dodge this. Yeah, that's way too close to dodge. And he ends up getting killed. If you have the further distance, maybe, but when you're that close, any decent hooker is going to be able to hit that, so... Boxy definitely one of those, and not much more Zibe could have done right there, so well played. And Glacius actually ends up roaming mid here at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they're just kind of. I mean, I think they know that Boxy's got such a big advantage in this top lane that he doesn't need Glacius there to sort of try and box out the Magnus, for example. And instead, just come up middle. That's bottom lane though. Engineer.
Yeah,
Gonna be falling again.
Oh, yeah, he is gonna fall top lane though as well. No, Devo gonna barely survive. Back to the bottom. Gemini now might be in trouble. No, he's able to twin fangs away in time before he gets caught as well. So action at a couple different lanes right there. Ends up being the 1 kill on Engineer though, in favor of Don. They now have the 2-1 lead
Parasite.
here. In the end, Parasite. Oh, yeah, he actually got found by Glacius. Going for the rune. That's unfortunate for Iceland Gogo. Just simply trying to do some rune control and runs into the support Glacius. And ends up getting killed right there. Now, Devo top lane. He's not level 6 yet, though, so is this going to be enough? Oh, my God, it is. Oh, the decay is enough to take out Magnus. And boy, oh boy, Boxy is dominating that top lane now.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why Glacius rotated over, because if he comes mid now and he can sort of secure the farm on Flux without any kind of detriment to the Devourer, he's going to start putting harassment on ProBusk as well. And if you look at it, the farm with Flux and Ravener is actually very, very similar. And seeing as Ravener was sort of babysat for the last 4 minutes, Flux done actually very, very well.
Yeah. That's, you see, about 267 gold per minute, pretty respectable for how things are going. So this ultimately, ideally, carry Ravener. ProBusk not having the best start, honestly. 273 gold per minute. And what was initially a 2v1 net lane, as we've talked about now, kind of developed into 2v2. But, I mean, you see right there missing another ball. Lightning attempt, the stun, for Power Man's a little late as well. So, again, not the biggest deal in the world. But overall, 23-8 creep farm here for Ravener, but yeah, Flux managing 19-1, really keeping up as you're just pointing out. So I think it's safe to say Don's going to need to have a Ravener really step it up here if they want to have a successful chance here in what is game number 1. I mean, Drunken Master, sure, he's doing decent at the bottom lane, but even with his decent start of 2 assists and a decent creep farm, only 250 gold per minute with that said. So, yeah, I mean, do you think Don's going to need to make a rotation here, perhaps send Ravener bottom lane to get some better farm, or?
I mean, I think he's doing fine for now. I mean, 300 GPM is still acceptable, and if you put Ravener bottom as well, then like Drunken Master will most likely have to come mid, and if he comes mid, I think he's going to lose that matchup against the Flux, honestly. So I think they're doing fine, honestly, what they're doing. You saw Magnus try to rotate over because he can't lane top, put it simply, because Boxy will keep on killing him. But a good ward placement actually come out from Fusen to spot any kind of rotations, and it looks like Zib is going to be forced to start farming the jungle, honestly. And I mean, what else can he really do? He can't lane top because he's going to die most likely.
Yeah.
He tried to set up mid, but just some good ward vision come out from Fusen. Oh. Talking of Fusen.
They're going to run him right here once again. So Parasite finds his good old friend in Glacius yet again, but he actually gets the double damage rune and able to jet on out of there before anything too much happens. You see Quincy right there pointing out a very interesting side. We were stressing on the Ravener, but yeah, that's true. Drunken Master also known as not having the most successful win rate. So two of the bottom 3 win rate heroes right now in Haunter Season 3 are on the same team in Dawn right here. So that even makes you look at this draft a little bit more and kind of scratch your head. It's like, were they really thinking about this here? Because that's not usually going to add up to success in the end. So, but I mean, individually, again, on paper, and to be fair, once again, Ravener did get that slight buff as well. So, take it how you will. But anyways, again, the start's still seeming like it's a little bit better for Tree. But I mean, overall, the stats with that said are still fairly even in the big scheme of things. So. Not to overreact too much right here, but Boxy, again, he does have 400 gold per minute, actually. He's got his Steam Boots. I'm guessing he's going to be going for an early portal key here.
Yeah, I think that's pretty what they try to do. They try and give Boxy some kind of similar to what Sync do with Mickey. Try and get him like the early portal key, give him ways to actually start making plays happen, for example. And I think it's the right play to make as well. Like there's no need for him to continue farming after the portal key though, because they can just leave that lane for Gemini, for example. Even though Gemini's doing very, very well bottom, actually 350 GPM, it's just a little bit safer obviously if he starts farming top. And so it's probably going to be maybe like a 9 to 10 minute portal key on Boxy, and then from there start seeing action on the map for Tree.
Yeah. See the Glacius aura kicking in as well, and of course that changed the base mana on top of the nice regen that's always applied, only level 1 currently, but giving that global effect to Willowkeeper here. You see top rune going to be picked up by Ravener, happens to only be a refreshment rune. Bottom rune picked up by Glacius, regen, but actually runs into Parasite again. These two going at it. Health potion going to be popped. Can he get himself killed? No, he can't. He had to go to the auto attack animation, and that gave Parasite just enough time to ultimately set up his own auto attack for the kill. So good attempt right there by Glacius, but no cigar.
Yeah, that was actually a really good play counter from Parasite. He actually held his face hug before Glacius ice imprisoned him. So when he ice imprisoned him, he actually ulted him and then turned the ice imprisonment onto the Glacius there, turned his own spill against him, which was quite interesting there, and secured the kill on him. So, well played out from Iceland. Go.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I mean, I kind of, have to remind myself that that's part of the ability, the transferring of the debuffs there. And so it really makes you, Parasite play a little bit different in that sense, like as you explained right there. Wait to get ice imprisonment before you actually cast it, so you transfer it to your opponent, if anything. And also, with runes and whatnot. So.
Yep, that's why he let Glacius get the regen as well. Like, he didn't know it was going to be regen, but he knew that he was going to let Glacius get the rune regardless. If it was a haste or a DD, for example, he was going to let him have it. Bottom lane though, Gemini.
Is he in trouble? I mean, he's going to go for the TP right here. Whew, he is going to be fine. Yeah, just couldn't really see him right there. Yeah, and able to TP on out. So good getaway coming out from Baltazar. Now at 355 gold per minute. He's got the early Soul Scream ring. A lot of build up here. Steam boots with that Mystic Vestments. Probably going to be picking up the early Energizer. Then going from there, of course. I was going to say, possibly having him go top and. Farm up there for the time being, but actually goes back bottom and almost finds himself in trouble. But he's able to twin things away once again to be safe. But even Magnus here, so it's a 3-man army here right now for Dawn. I don't think they're going to be able to do much, though.
Yeah, I think they should probably try and secure some farm on Baltazar, though, because he doesn't need to be down here. Like, free lane, I mean, I know Engineer and Ro8 is farming up the top lane, which is fine, but he's already got his level 6, which I think is probably the biggest thing for Engineer. Just give Gemini the top lane, and Boxy, although he doesn't have his portal key, he can start making hooks happen like he's trying to do middle lane, actually. Yep. Because if Gemini stays bottom, like, you can see the kind of pressure they're going to try and put on Baltazar. Whether they kill him or not, they're still putting pressure on him. And foreseeing as they're running kind of a full protect one strategy on this Gemini, they should try and give him some priority on farm. So.
Love using the power of the Veiled Ro8 right here. Again, 2 ward of sights that would have seen him otherwise. But actually something just giving Q to Dawn right here to kind of fall back and not really give Devo ultimately the opportunity so that they do. And thus Devo has to... Well, go elsewhere himself. Doesn't want to spend too much time there. Getting nothing out of it, of course.
And actually, really good play carrot from the supports from Tree as well. Something I always see them do. They always stack the jungle, and it allows them the farm they couldn't get elsewhere, put simply. So they give the lane over to Engineer in the short lane to give him some kind of farm, perhaps farm up an early portal key. And the heroes that can farm the jungle, for example, like Devour, he's already level 9, he's picked up a health potion and the bottle as well. He can go farm these triple stack ancients and get his portal key there himself, kind of thing, which is just a really good efficient use of the resources now. And he did obviously try and set up the gank mid, but that failed, and now he's going to go to the jungle and start farming there most likely.
Yeah. Level 6 Pyromancer, so he's got that burst to work with as well. Keep that in mind here.
Oh my god, look at this play. Look at the Devourer. He's put Vowed Rot so the creeps can't see him, but he's got his Rot on instead. That's so genius.
Oh,
that is so
next
genius.
Level right there. Wow.
That's actually so interesting to see.
Somebody's been practicing.
Man, because I was wondering, I don't know how he's going to do these triple stack ancients. Like, Devour obviously doesn't do that much damage killing, but then he does, and he takes a lot of damage. But with that, he's able to do it.
That's very interesting right there. Bottom lane gets taken up on a 1 cost here. Drunken Master might be in some trouble now. He pops his untouchable, so of course he's going to be fine for the time being. That's not going to hit in time, and actually able to make the sidestep. So made it difficult for them, and good play ultimately coming out from Labyrinth right there.
Yeah, I just don't think. I don't think Boxy wants to overcommit. That's why he tried to go for the long hook. He had to obviously wait till the untouchable was down so he could get the hook. So that is why he's probably going to go over to the jungle and probably farm this triple stack medium camp as well, because he's about 400 gold away from portal key. So
yeah, very genius play right there. Definitely coming out from Boxy and able to farm up, make use of the resources here in the jungle, of course, as a kind of that clever, crafty play of his. So. Going to continue to jungle a little bit more with the assistance of Engineer now, as you mentioned, very, very close to that portal key. 1950 gold, 1980, so pretty much a couple more creep kills here, and he will have it. Gemini able to finish that Energizer, of course, and farming away at the top lane somewhat. But Ravener, we talked about earlier how he wasn't having the best start here as far as GPM goes, especially. Well, that's stepped up right now. He is actually top in the game at about 350 gold per minute. Back to the top lane, though. Magnus. He is in a little bit of trouble, but never mind. Gemini gets pulled back by Devour. Can Drunken Master get in there? No, he cannot. That hook from Devo bought the distance. Ultimately save him. Yeah, 4 heroes here on the side of Dawn. They were ready to fight. But good retreat.
Yeah. I mean, Provost is saving up all this gold, and it looks like he's going to go for a portal key, but I really don't think so. Like, I mean, I talked about how Carry Ravenor can work, and I don't think Initiator Ravenor can work at all, really. It's the role we actually initially saw him on, but I just don't think he's really suited for it, particularly after the nerfs he got to his Q and W. I think you have to really rely on the power overwhelming, and that can only be utilised if you play him as a carry. I've seen a couple of item builds for Carry Ravenor, one being sort of the Dawnbringer and Abyssal Skull, even the Thunderclaw to an extent, and that's probably he's going to go for Portal Key instead, and I'm just not a big fan of it. Seeing, firstly, obviously it doesn't really work too well with the hero, but second of all, like, Probus is the carry player, and if he's playing sort of Initiator, I don't know, it doesn't seem to have the greatest synergy, but I guess we'll have to see if it's going to work out or not.
I mean, obviously, Drunken Master does have pretty strong potential himself, but they're almost going all in a sense with that said. Now, as I say, that's Skeleton King coming in right here from Parasite. The opponent from Flux kind of destroyed them a little bit. Magnus does it with the Eruption, though. Flux is in trouble. Flux will ultimately fall right there. Fuse's able to get himself killed by neutrals. In the meantime, can Gemini get away? He Twin Figs. Energy Field is down. Devour joins the party as well, and a big turnaround play is coming out from Tree. However, oh yeah, they will get the 4-for-2 exchange, and now Pyromancer, no, he's able to dodge the hook, and that might be the difference maker here. Maybe not, though. Dio has a portal key in 1 second. Pyromancer, the random stun, just cleared through the trees. Still trying to get out. It looks like he actually will. But wow, the end result, Tree in favor, 4-2 exchange. Yeah, they dove a little bit too hard right there. Did Don in the end. It's
the engineer though. The engineer had like such a big impact with the energy field. Like just when they dive that heavily, like you can easily punish it. Obviously with the Flux obviously pulled him in, even though the engineer wasn't there at the start. Having that energy field to keep the Pokemon sort of team in place was enough to Tree to really capitalize on the overextension from Pokemon in the end. All go back in again.
I'm also just shocked as there's that ball lightning jump, so makes use of the portal key right there, but now he might be in some trouble himself actually. Oh, Flux. He did it the wrong way, but it doesn't matter. Tivo comes in, the stun for Pyromancer. It's not in time, unfortunately. Now Pyromancer, he's going to be hooked in. Bhakti, the big play's coming out at 2-0. A double tap for Krake actually on the Flux. Oh, that just adds insult to injury right there, especially how they just got cleaned up the fight before coming out. So yeah, not worth the NG kill. They were pissed off at it, but definitely not worth the sacrifice there.
Yeah, exactly. What was you going to say, sorry, before?
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, on top of that, too, though, it was a 4-for-2 exchange, but actually, I mean, Glacius managed to get killed by neutral somehow in the midst of that fight. So really, in a sense, it's almost like a 4-for-1 exchange. They didn't even get credit for it. So, yeah.
I think that must have been probably the auto-attack from the Skeleton King from Parasite, and then just before it sort of hit, he must have jumped out the creep, and then the neutral must have got the kill.
Maybe that,
no way was there neutrals in this middle lane. That must have been the reason why. That's quite crazy.
Something made that happen, so yeah, it's just nothing really going Don's way overall in the midst of that fight, and again, especially after. So it's looking pretty grim here for Don as far as the start goes, 16.5 minutes in, so again, still fairly earlier on. They're going to try to make a play at the top lane here. You see the Veiled Rock coming in. The miss stun, though, from Pyromancer is not the easiest. However, Ravener goes in, actually, gets the stun on, but he doesn't have the support in time. They do deny the tower, however. So a little bit of a small victory there, in a sense, for Don at least.
I do like what Pokemon are doing, though. They are at least realizing, this is the kind of the lineup, this is kind of the objectives we need to take, though, because obviously Carry Ravenor isn't the way that Proboss is playing it, and obviously that's fun. A middle end, though.
Jeez, these angles right here from Boxy. Well played by Parasite, though, able to infest the creep at the last second. That's his level 1 puzzle box. I mean, it's a Kex, and it does hit one auto attack, and the turret's enough damage to get the kill onto Parasite right there, and you see the teamwork coming out. Flux pulling in his NG teammate in the end to save him. Willowkeeper is playing pretty well right here. Their teamwork seems to be on the ball. Boxy is landing some big hooks as well as you would expect, of course. So.
Definitely. But going back to Pokemon, their sort of strategy and their objectives, I like what they're doing, though, because they've picked up the Portal Key on Ravenor, and let's be honest, Drunken Master isn't going to be able to carry. He doesn't have any kind of farming mechanism to really contest with the Gemini. So they're realizing, okay, guys, we have kind of a mid-game timing here. Let's try and push it. Unfortunately, it's just not working out, because every single time that Pokemon try and make a rotation, Tree are always there to sort of follow up on any kind of aggression that happens. Because, I mean, they can't contest really in the late game, particularly if not with the items that Ravenor was going. Like, he's going kind of, initiate kind of ganking sort of style of items, and he will not be able to contest with the farm of Gemini. Like, Gemini's got about 400 GPM already, and expect that to hit, the 500, 600 GPM mark at the 20 to 30 minute mark. And by that time, I don't think there's not anything that's really scary enough on Pokemon to really contest that.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely the portal key decision here by Ravener really is the head scratcher. And again, it's not a hindsight either. It's you were really pointing that out as soon as he got it. Not really a huge fan of the idea, especially with where the game's at, pretty much. So.
Yeah, I mean, it can work. Obviously, it's just that honestly, I think Tree every single time that Pokemon are trying to make use of it, that Tree are just having the better response. Honestly, obviously Devour is always there, Flux is there to sort of help him out in any kind of engagements, and I mean, Tree just a little bit outplaying their opponents, put simply.
Something else worth noting, too, we're talking about Parasite. He got some slight nerfs from, just in general, again, the regen now only just basically doesn't go down to life now at level 4 rather than getting life with the Infest. But also Alchemist Bones did get a nice little change to it as well.
Yeah,
and now not only gives the player experience, 1.75 times the experience upon killing target creep, but also it instantly kills. So there's no travel time anymore.
It's really important.
So it's even more of a counter than before to the Parasite.
It really is, because whenever you see it, because normally whenever you use the Alchemist Bones on a Parasite, normally it's about 600 range away, and any good Parasite player will see the Alchemist Bones sort of charge coming and just jump out, so the player doesn't receive the gold. But now being instant is actually really important. There's no way that Parasite can really counter it, put simply. So, nice little change.
Yeah. Let's see Ro8 right here. Diva looking
sorry, going back to the Alchemist Bones. The item's actually really good now with the experience change as well. It's even suitable for secondary supports to go for it. Not because of the gold, obviously the gold is nice, but the experience as well. Like a lot of the secondary supports have trouble, hitting the level 16 mark, and for some secondary supports, that level 16 is a big impact. So I think it's quite justifiable now picking up Alchemist Bones on supports, but also suicides as well. And I think we'll start to see that eventually as well.
Yeah. Speaking of supports, again, a couple of nice changes. They've got this was a somewhat heavy support patch, and they got many changes. And not only that, but the Striders now only 150 gold rather than 300, so half cost right there. You see Glacius picking those up, and looks like even Parasite, in fact, picking them up as well. So a little bit cheaper there in a sense. But then also the wards. Remember, if your ward happens to last the full 6-minute duration, you will get 50 gold refunded on top of the 100 that you spent. So again, the really enticing, makes the idea more powerful that you want to set up that ward in a spot that is not going to get countered.
Yeah.
To get that refund. So.
That's true. And actually 50 gold, but honestly it does have a little bit of an impact, particularly for like the first support, for people like Fuzin or Pyromancer in this case. 50 gold can go a long way. Obviously it's halfway towards the next ward, for example, which is always very, very nice. And for poor ass supports like Glacius, 50 gold means a lot, put simply. So it's definitely nice to have.
It does, and again, it's like I brought up too, with the idea of supports possibly getting more gold as a result of this patch, with things like the war change and the less cost on Striders. And I'm like, why is that a bad thing? Why is that a bad thing?
It's not,
in the end?
it's
not
good.
at all. And so I'm definitely happy to see that. You see how even a portal key on the secondary support now, Rudy Z, with the Steam Boots, he's also level 11 on top of that. Yeah, so.
Yeah. And I think this is something that Tree really you'd like to utilize. Like they would. Kind of sacrifice even their hard carry farm if it is to the benefit of the secondary support, because they realise how important it is to have a good utility and kind of the backup of the supporting cast of their team. And more often than not, it's the things that win them games. Obviously the last team fight was because of that engineer energy field, and if he wasn't level 6, for example, that wouldn't be why Tree won that team fight, for example. So something that's really, really important to know, and it's probably the first team that I saw them to see do it, honestly. So quite impressive nonetheless.
Taking a look at the other games going on right here, you got Rexars versus Reason. Rexars looks like they're up earlier on 12-7 hero kills in about a 38-minute game, and Sync versus Ride My Rocket. Sync looks like they're up, but it's also a competitive game at the same time, so we'll keep an eye on these results here. And of course, there's even one other match, the Prime Icarus versus Millstone. So again, keep an eye on those and let you know how those shape up in the end. So. Fuzin definitely a fan of that Glacius, no doubt. It's one of his more popular heroes, and this is a team that even first picks that Glacius from time to time. So he is a fan of it.
I think it's because it's a hero that does so much with so little kind of thing. Like with the style of support that Fuzin plays, completely selfless kind of thing. Like just will have Striders the whole game and just buy wars practically, and you kind of want to have a support hero that can do so much with absolutely nothing. And that's Glacius. That's what it provides. Has 2 to 3 good CC abilities, plus the aura obviously now giving max mana as well, which is always useful for your team.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, when it comes to diversity, as you see right there too, only 4 heroes in total now. I would be curious to kind of compare that to other top support players and how many different supports like they play. Because honestly, I would figure it's not a whole lot of plethora of supports that they play. So, but you got bottom lane Magmus. Magmus still without that portal key, man. Yeah, this has not been Zibe's game here. He was in a difficult time with the top lane, but he's not even close to it either. That's got to hurt them, too.
And the kind of issue with Magmus as well is like you kind of need that portal key kind of thing. It's kind of like Pebbles to an extent, maybe less so to an extent, but still very, very important. And if you look at his team, everyone on his team needs farm as well. Like Drunken Master needs the farm, Revenant needs the farm, and Parasite is going to need the farm, and he's going to be farming the jungle as well. So there's not really anywhere that Zibe can farm if his lane did go badly, as it did, to be expected, obviously. But still, it's going to be hard to find farm unless he can start farming hero kills, put simply.
Yeah. Well, he's farming up the jungle a little bit right here, so again, keep an eye on that gold and see when he is eventually able to get that portal key. And I wouldn't be surprised if Don's really almost banking on that, buying time for him to at least get his portal key, get him maybe another item on a hero like Ravener and the Shrunken End of Drunken Master, then look to make something happen. Because at this rate especially, the longer this game goes on, the more and more farm that Gemini is going to get. And
exactly.
Baltazar is going to be a huge, huge threat. He's got the Frostburn, in fact, already finished as that Firebrand's being delivered out to him. So that's not good news.
This is definitely in favour of Tree, because not only do they have the late game, but they're completely out farming Pokemon as well. Like every single time I look at Gemini, has higher GPM, completely puts, for example, and they're just utilising the farm as well. Like I always see them start stacking their own jungle and even their ancients as well. And Pokemon, they're kind of just sort of static farming, not stacking too much, and it just goes back to the fact that Tree, they do really utilise the farm on every bit of the map as possible. Always see the jungle farm down and getting farm wherever they can, like bottom lane here with Flux, for example.
Yeah. Devour, even using his ultimate right there to finish off a jungle creep. Again, it's not the longest cooldown, only 30 seconds actually. I believe, only 30-second cooldown, so in fact, only 15 more seconds left before it's going to be back up and good to go. He actually pops a regen rune right here. Be looking for an opportunity middle lane, but as you see him kind of come in the area, you got Parasite already falling back, and Ravener not necessarily putting himself in a bad spot either. 22-minute rune is coming up, though, and you can tell Don very interested to pick that one up, and it's only going to be a refreshment, however, at the bottom. Puzzle Box is still level 1 on Parasite, by the way, and you do see Haste Rune actually was picked up by Devo all the way at the top lane, so... okay, well, there you go. So Quincy actually pulling out that stat that I was curious about, and so yeah, I guess Fusin is down there on the diversity chart. As the next in line is what would that be? Drents? Oh no, support, the player support, yeah. And then Drents and geez, Insanity's way 13. Wow.
Kind of an interesting thing what Pokemon just did there. Like I think they realised that actually they're getting quite out of farm. They tried to block the Ancients, but Fuzin was clearly on top of it though. Reveled instantly. I think he saw him with a ward off sight here next to the Hellborn Ancients over here near Kongo and just spotted that out instantly. And yeah, Pokemon, I think the reason why they're a little bit reluctant to start getting aggressive is because when they picked up the portal key and they started getting aggressive, Tree just had the better response, as I mentioned before. And I think they're just scared of if they start getting aggressive, it's going to be the same story in favour of Tree. And if that happens again, I mean, it's going to be close to game. So I think they want to at least maybe wait for... I mean, they've got Shrunken Head now on Drunk, and at least maybe the Portal Key and Magnus before they try and get aggressive again. But for Tree, they're happy to sit on, keep on farming, put it simply. So.
Yeah. Let's see here. Apparently some weather issues kicking in to Dawn, unfortunately. So causing some lag. It's snowing here as well, where I'm from, actually.
Is it snowing? Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty crazy here. Yesterday,
like massive snowball fights.
Oh yeah, that's how we do. Yeah, no, we have a break like every couple of hours. We go downstairs like snowball fight. No, we don't do that.
All right.
We should, though. I'll bring that up. See
Okay.
how they
Oh,
feel
hook.
about that. What a hook from Boxy yet again.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, not so big of a keg stomp, but it doesn't really matter. That's one of those embarrassing ones, man. It's almost like a taunt from Ro8. So I'm just going to launch a keg right in front of your face, not actually hit you with it.
Mate, that's Ro8. He missed that on purpose.
Of course. There's no way he accidentally missed that.
Oh, they're trying to set up maybe a kill on this Gemini. The Magnus and Pyromancer are rotating up, but it looks like Tree know what's going down. 2 ports already coming in. This could actually backfire here for Pokemon if they're not careful.
Drunken Master, I don't think he realizes there's a hook yet again. Twin Fix goes in. It was not really the best communication right there. Drunken Head is popped from Drunken Master. Magnus now running as well. Again, he doesn't have the portal key. Pops the Eruption. Engineer still up. He gets the energy field off, but he does die in the end. Energy field not the biggest, however, because they were actually retreating here on the Legion side, but they're going to need to continue retreating here. Diva Hook misses. Pyromancer placing strike, not enough damage. Magnus, I don't know what he's thinking here, honestly. He's not going to go kill him by himself, but actually with teamwork, they do get the kill onto Glacius in the background. So overall, not the worst there for Dawn. They only lost Pyromancer, actually. So they do come out on top in the end. I think that's almost really the first fight that they've come out on top here, honestly. And now they're going to pressure the top tower, so signs of life coming out for Dawn.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, it might not last long here if they're not careful.
Yeah, it looks like Flox wants to set up actually with Invis over here, but Gemini needs to region up, but Ferrodog is getting sent back, so it looks like Tree are going to try and contest this. Though Eruption from Magnus is down, I think they could do it, but Tower's already dropping now, so they're going to have to let this one fall.
Yeah, they say not worth it. Flox no portal key or anything like that, of course, again, especially with the way he likes to build. It has that Sanitarius, and gonna continue to scout things out, though, so if
he needs support
stays,
to the Drunken, though. Drunken's probably an easier kill than Magnus, I think.
Yeah, a little bit less of a getaway chance. Oh, he's going to open on to Magnus right here. Magnus has a stun still. He's played it very safe. He's not going to... Oh! Well, he should have stunned. Because he was trying to wait to the last second. Also, the Diva comes in. They do catch Drunken Master as well. Drunken's going to fall. What a finish there. You see the Diva Hook a little bit late. It doesn't matter, though. And he also gets Alchemist Bones, by the way, on Devour. So, but like again, especially with the experience change, it's really not a bad pickup.
It's really, really good. Like, not only is he playing against the Parasite as well, but also you have to think about the state of the game. Like, the last 10 minutes has been just a complete farm fest. So if it's going to be a farm fest, you know, why not increase it just with Alchemist Bones? Like, his core is his portal key. He's already picked that up, and the rest kind of is luxury. And the Alchemist Bones is just useful to continue getting other items and continue on farming, really. Like, he's already 373 GPM. He doesn't have the greatest farming mechanism, but, you know, with the Alchemist Bones, this does allow him to have that himself. So
yeah. That's 9,500 gold lead now, 13,000 experience lead in favor of Willowkeeper. And again, stressing that especially with their makeup, and if it just continues to go this route, I don't know if Don really has much hope. So they're still in that Olin mindset, I think, of get the portal key on Magnus. He has a level 2 eruption now, and just hope for a big team fight with that, because really, it's I don't see much else working here for Dawn, unfortunately, with the state of the game right now. I mean, Abyssal Skull and Ravener, sure, that's nice, but especially with them going that portal key first, again, it's debatable whether or not that is the better choice, but it's one route at least, but it's not really the carry route, at least for earlier on in the game, and you know, it's not like Drunken Master's doing much better with that either, at pulling the Drunken Head. And actually, Magnus stuns in. Yeah, Devour. He did not expect this to happen. He is damn tanky, though. He has a regen rune even, but he can't make use of it. And they do collapse for the kill, so that's a very important pickoff. And is there more? No. Okay, Gemini in some trouble, actually. What a lunge right there. And actually, the Magma stun just in range as well. Here comes Ravener, and Gemini's going to fall. Well, if this happens, then Dawn does have a good chance.
Yeah, definitely. This definitely Tree give him a bone to try and get back into this game. I mean, it's obviously a good deal for Pokemon, but not the biggest deal for Tree, because they still are out farming and they still have the Gemini factor, which Pokemon really don't have the hardest sort of kind of carry to really contest with him. But yeah, there's still definitely ways to get back into this game now. Portal Key now on Magnus because of that, so definitely signs of life.
Yeah,
for Pokemon.
It's Tree helping them out a little bit in a sense, so they need to be careful with that. Of course, definitely still in the lead themselves, of course. 7,000 gold lead, 7,700 experience lead. But yeah, we just got finished saying how it was pretty significantly higher than that, and already closing that gap. So again, the portal key is going to be finished here on Magnus. I assume that's, I mean, it is Zibe. He tends to kind of do some funky things every now and then. So, but I find it hard to believe we're not going to see a portal key on Magnus here. So, he's definitely got the gold for it. 2,400 gold just about saved up on Rabbit. Another 2,700 gold on Drunken Master. So, they're really going to have their next tier of items here, actually. And so things definitely actually getting a little bit better, even, of course, for Dawn here. And that's where Tree almost needs to be the one to be a little bit careful. Now, Geometer's Bane just finished by Gemini here. You see some counter warding going on. Possible Congo attempt here in the near future from Tree as they're counter warding here.
Not only that, but they've took the tier 1 tower mid and the tier 1 tower bottom, and if you look at the warding coming up from Fusion as well, you can clearly understand his sort of objective. They just want to continue and sort of push that. You know, they are out farming Pokemon. They're going to start taking over the enemy jungle here and start farming that, and that's really going to restrict Pokemon in where they can farm. Like, look at the movement as well. Like, they're all clumped up, and Tree, they don't even have to take this team fight if they don't want to, because they're just going to continue out farming them as they are doing right now. And they could even, like you said, go Conga as well because of the map control and the map vision they've got.
So yeah, Puzzle Box minion here. That's a level 3 minion. It's just the minion itself. It's kind of scouting things out, making sure no Congo is happening or anything for the time being, but eventually killed off. You do see that Soul's Bulwark on Flux, and of course the Shrunken on the top of that. I thought he actually was going to be going for the Frostless Skull. I thought that's what he usually goes for, to be honest, but he actually did go the Shrunken Head in the end. And
I think in this one it makes a little bit more sense. Obviously, he's going against that incredibly heavy magical damage team, except for maybe the Drunken Master, and he's sort of rectified any kind of physical damage with the Bulwark as well. So I think it makes sense as well. And a lot of it is kind of AoE sort of damage. Like, normally, if it's a singular magic, then he'll go kind of tanky because then he can sort of soak up that singular damage. But in AoE, then he's not really soaking up anything, and they're not going to focus him. So he might as well pick up the Shrunken Head instead.
Yeah.
Because of that. So.
We're going to see get in the Mine Trap set. Are those level 4 mines? They sure are. Yeah, he's level 15. So level 4 mines starting to spawn around the Conqueror pit. So we'll see if those come into play here against Dawn. But Gemini soloing Conqueror. He does have the team surrounding him, kind of backing him up in a sense. But now they're going to actually go to the Conqueror pit and assist for the actual kill. There's no way Dawn's going to be stopping this, it looks like. So maybe, actually. Drunken's kind of heading over. And they don't have the best idea. Again, they are blind right now. You see them sending a puzzle box, but the Alchemist Bones instantly kills it. And down goes Conqueror. So there's the token of life on a Gemini. And things just got really difficult for Dawn.
Yeah.
I mean, so, but even the thing is, though, like even with that, the golden experience actually even lessens a little bit as far as the gap here. So
it's because Pokemon were farming the enemy woods as sort of they were doing Congo, but that is actually really, really bad though, because like this, not only does it make teamfights a lot harder, it allows Gemini to keep on farming, and if not farming in quite aggressive places. Really, like you see him farming mid. If he didn't have token, he might not be farming there, for example. So whenever you have token, if they don't try and teamfight and they keep on farming, normally the carry will sort of increase GPM by 30 or 40 because he can play more aggressive and therefore he can get more greedy farm in that respect.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's going to go Frostwolf himself. And again, like I said, they don't have to go and take team fights with this token if they don't want to, because they've got the late game. If there's anything, who should be making these sort of team fights happen, it should be Pokemon, because they don't have that late game, and they haven't gotten the right items if they want to try and sort of farm out the enemy jungle and farm out, Tree, for example. So.
See right now, again, continues to be a little bit more of a passive, we're going to farm it up kind of game here. You got Gemini, that token of life, already down about 3.5 minutes, close to it. So perhaps in the next minute or so, we'll see if Tree decides to make a move here. In the meantime, Ancient's going to be done. Looks like he's trying to triple stack. He will be successful with that, and possibly figures out what happened there. Folks,
that's Engineer Mine. No, Engineer Mine's on Pyro. He nearly died. Look at him.
Oh,
oh man, very funny.
That's just needed one more mine, damn it. That or a Thunderbringer would have been fine.
No, Thunderbringer is actually OP, man. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, no,
love
really.
that hero. He got buffed this patch as well, I think.
It seems like he gets buffed every patch, and we still
man.
don't even,
I think Waz is like, guys, just pick up Thunderbringer, right, man? The hero's OP.
Yeah, he did get some buffs. He has mana cost was reskilled on chain landing. Looks, Veiled Rot coming out here. Look at this. It's a 3-man Veiled Rot. They're looking for a chance, and they might find it right here. Parasite and Drunken Master in some trouble, making a 4-man Veiled Rot. There's the initiation. Drunken Master, he gets pulled in with that energy field. He pops the Drunken Head. Will it be too late, though? Untouchables up. One more auto attack. Maybe the hook from Devour misses. Oh, it's not enough for the kill. And Drunken Master will just barely skirt on out of there. Man, that damage reduction as well really helped him. And staying alive, so.
I think actually it was a little bit of hesitation for coming out from Boxy there, because like, he portal keyed straight onto the Drunken Master, and I think he was scared of using his ulti when the Untouchable was on, but I think he had the jump on the Drunken Master though. Like if he instantly portal keyed and ultied him, that would have been a definite guarantee, and I think just with that slight hesitation with him not instantly ulting, I think Drunken Master got away, when I don't think he should have, honestly.
Yeah. Very, very close indeed, but in the end, Don keeping a decent game going here for what was looking like a pretty sketchy start. But again, you look back at where things had kind of slowed down a little bit was how both Balthazar on that Gemini and Boxy on D.Va got picked off in the Legion jungle, one after the other. And since then, it's been Don kind of really getting back into this game. If it wasn't for that, this probably would honestly couldn't even be over at this point. So the token of life is it's only a minute and a half left. It doesn't look like Tree is going to really make the most aggressive use out of it here, and he's going to start falling back.
You're right, and I think the biggest thing honestly for Pokemon though is that look at Probuster. Like, although he did go Portal Key first item, he has somewhat transitioned into that kind of carry Revenant, if you kind of think about it. He's picked up the Abyssal Skull, and he does have the Shrunken Head as well, but look at his GPM though, he's closing in on the Gemini actually, which is really surprising to me actually. I mean, but this is what I was trying to say, like, if he didn't go the Portal Key here, like, I mean, the Portal Key didn't have that much of effect at all really. Whenever he tried to use it, he actually died, so it was probably more of a detriment than it was kind of a benefit. But if he went like maybe Thunderclaw first item, like imagine what he could have been, for example. But still, it is quite of a big threat, and I think Tree should definitely try and focus down. He's picked up the Thunderclaw as well, so I guess the carry Revenant is going to happen, even though he did pick up the Portal Key first item.
Yeah,
definitely transitioning into one.
Well, so. Yeah, I mean, even as a carry hero, I mean, we see it from time to time where your carry hero is going to get something like a Portal Key just for the mobility factor. So, sure, you know, as far as the way he's building it up, maybe you would expect it to be, you know, almost backwards in a sense. But yeah, he's got it now. At least we'll see if we make use of it here. Gemini, in the meantime, he's got it right here. 20 seconds left on the token of life, though, so he will come back up. If he falls, it looks like he's getting close to an Engineer. In the meantime, gets pulled away. Will eventually get picked off. D.Va with the hook, however, on a Drunken Master. They eventually finish him down. There's the kill on a Gemini. Going to be coming back up. Eruption not the biggest, however. And now Gemini is back into the fight. Buyback from Drunken Master, though, it looks like. Flux trying to push them back. D.Va joins in as well. Gemini, he is taking some good damage right here, but he's able to twin things away. Going to be fine. Who's going to be up on top of this fight? Looks like a hat trick for Kraken coming out. Double tap for Boxy. They're cleaning up. And Magnus, the lone survivor, he eventually falls as Gemini and Flux barely live themselves.
Man.
Wow. I mean, that was so hard to follow, honestly. But they barely come out on top, does Tree. That was close, though.
Man, that was a six-man wipe as well. Drunken Master brought back, and my goodness, Breaky, that Flux was doing so much work. Like, not only can they not kill him, he was doing so much damage as well. Like, look, if you look at the damage chart, he's actually top on the damage chart for his team. Like, he's doing so much work, and man, that Sanitarius' pickup is who's working wonders as well. He was toggling it perfectly, so they could not even bring him down. And man, this Flux, I don't know how they can even deal with him, though. They can't burst him down because he's got the Shrunken Head and the Sanitarius, but if they leave him, he's doing more damage than the Gemini, which is just really surprising. And they've got a big issue, and Pokemon definitely needs to try and address it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's for me, it's Don right there. Part of them's probably got to feel. Obviously, they lost the fight. They ended up getting 6 deaths in the end, as you pointed out, even after the buyback. But at the same time, it's like they actually stood their ground somewhat pretty strong, and maybe Ravener also showing, especially even with that Thunderclaw alone, how much pressure he can put out himself as well. So, and now his damage is going to start going up, at least ideally with the damage chart. So, what's that right there? True.
Look at that stat.
Everyone else with Flux 0 and 5.
That's literally like, I'm not that. If that stat doesn't show it, like, it just shows how not only how good Cracker is, but how well Tree use it. Like, I think I've only seen Insanitarius Flux coming out from Tree, and they do play him so well. They kind of play him as like a semi-carry, honestly, in the extent that like they don't really run him as an initiator. Like, you never see Portal Key really on Kraken. In very, very rare circumstances, maybe you will, but on the most part, they just play him as like a secondary carry, and that's exactly what he's becoming. Like, he's farming very, very well, and he does so much damage as well. Like, 15% is not easy feat to happen when you've got a Gemini in your team, for example. So. And then if you look for Pokemon, it's like, who else is really doing the heavy lifting? I guess maybe you could say Drunken Master outside of the Ravenor, but it just doesn't seem it has the same effects as the Flux, honestly, because Drunken Master can be bursted down, but the Flux just simply can't.
Yeah, I mean, you see right here, 2,000 life, but again, that's before he toggles on that Incendiarius, on top of having Shrunken, on top of having a Demonic Breastplate, so...
Exactly.
Yeah, very, very tanky indeed, and a difficult option to try to get killed here. So, is this the last outer tower? No, the top outer tower still remains as well, but they're going to be pushing in the secondary bottom, and that's going to be an easy kill. As I said, they were starting it. 5 seconds later, they end up killing it. Axe of the Malphite just picked up on Baltazar. You talk about tanky, man. Yeah, Gemini, as he does, as he tends
tank
to do.
Man. It's the tank meta.
It is the tank meta that you're so adamant about. That,
hook.
Working out here. The hook is going to be successful. Pyroman's going to pull back in. And eventually killed right there. He does not have a buyback. About 45 seconds on Resurrection. You know, some supports, it may not be the biggest deal they're picked off, but I think losing Pyromancer before he even used his ultimate especially is a pretty big deal, so...
I think the biggest thing is actually his creep clear. Like, who else is going to be able to creep clear? Perhaps maybe Magnus or Ravener, but like if they overextend, you know, Devour's just going to jump on him. And like, whereas at least with the Dragonfire and the Phoenix Wave, they have ways of creep clear. But now, I mean, they're banging on the tier 3 towers, and there's something that Pokemon can really do.
Yeah, that really is a significant kill, exactly. So they easily get the tower kill. You see Dawn so hesitant, but they gotta probably look to make that jump. There's the hook and actually hit Ravener. He points in with the Pole Lightning though on a Gemini, but here comes the Energy Field, a big pull in from Flux as well, and it looks at the Legion team. They're the ones melting quicker. Ravener's gonna end up falling. Drunken Master, he does hold his ground somewhat, but not for long, and he eventually does fall right there. Nobody dying on Tree's side, everybody dying on Dawn's side. That usually means a victory for the one team that survived. Ravener goes down again. Drunken Master, he ain't going to do too much here as they pick up Pyro yet again. That should do it. It looks like Tree is going to be successful with game number 1 here over Dawn. I mean, no GG's coming out just yet, but, well, there you go. It's just a matter of a little bit of time there, because with that fight going as it did, I don't think Dawn was going to hang in too much longer there. So well played by Tree, though. In the end, I mean, yeah, losing that Pyromancer going into the last fight definitely hurt them somewhat, but, I mean, still, Tree was pretty much ahead of that game for the most part all throughout.
Yep. That's true, but I mean, that's I think the beauty about the Devour pick though is that like you get kind of kills with Devour that you wouldn't get with any kind of other initiator. Like if you see Pebbles jumping in, that's the initiation, that's the sort of the team fight starting. But with Devour, he can kind of make kills happen without having the risk or having to sort of sacrifice his positioning because obviously he brings the hero to himself. And without that kill, obviously they could have still won, but you know definitely made it a lot easier for them.
They did.